Yes, sir. It's another episode of Real Talk Tuesdays. Your boy KaySix right here live, man, in effect. Man, we got a nice house tonight, man. We got a beautiful guest, man. You guys hope you're going to enjoy this guest tonight. Like always, man, to the right of me. Well, he actually not here right now. But we got my main man, Mr. Flick It Up. What's up, Flick It Up?
What it do? Y'all already know how we get down right here on the Real Talk Tuesday, man. Get down, ShakeDown Showcase, baby. Let's go.
Yes, sir. To the left of me, we got the gorgeous, beautiful Miss Katrina Diamond.
Hey, everybody. What's going on? This is Katrina Diamond in the house.
Yes, sir. And listen, man, we got a special guest, Mr. Samuel Archer, right?
The Samuel E. Archer.
That's right. Good night, everyone.
There you go, right there. So, we're glad to have you here. Glad to have you on tonight. As I was reading your bio, man, Sam, just tell a little about you, who you are, so that people can know who you are, you know, and a little about your background and so forth.
Well, I've done a few things in life. In the early 90s, I got into production. Before that, I've been always a musician. Play keyboards and so on. Got into super and swing. Actually, I started in the 4-track days.
Say that again?
4-track days.
The 4-track days.
The 4-track.
I remember the 4-track. Hey, that's how we used to.
Drum on one
Right. But that's how we created our whole demo is from the 4-track. A lot of artists out there, man. Y'all don't know about the 4-track. You had a whole studio in your basement. You created your demo with it. You tied you tied the 808 beat machine in with it. You know what I mean? You had if you had a reel-to-rear, you tied the reel-to-rear to it.
Yeah. See, I remember the reel-to-real days. I don't remember the 8. You saying the 8-track?
4-track.
Oh, the 4-track.
4-track.
We had a 1-inch reel-to-reel.
Right. Yeah.
But I had the 4-track, and turned out some really good music with the 4-track.
So, I see you've been in the industry for a while. What kind of music or your style of music that you like to create and that you put out there?
Well, life had it where I was really more into the gospel circuit. But living in New York, gospel was just a way to get into the R&B aspect and even to the hip-hop aspect.
Right.
And then, I was also influenced by pop music, people like David Foster from Chicago.
Right.
So I was also classically trained. So I kind of had a nice mix, and you might be hearing a Caribbean accent. So I grew up in the island of Tobago. Mm-hmm. So we had the calypso there. Mm-hmm. And then all the Jamaicans shipped all the reggae down to us. So we enjoyed that too.
Right.
And then we had country western. We used to dig a lot of Kenny Rogers back then and Kenny Loggins.
Right. That for the new schools, they not familiar.
We like, what's the lady that sang with Kenny Rogers?
Dolly Parton.
What's her name?
Dolly Parton.
Oh yeah, we love her.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So
in a good way.
So are you currently still in the music industry, or you just, because we see here that you wrote a book, you're currently an author, musician, you got a lot of roles that you're doing. So what is your main focus at this time? Are you still dabbing in music, or is this book your main focus?
Presently, the book is the main focus because I also spent some time in education and teaching. Mm-hmm. But if an artist approaches me and says, "Hey Sam, I'd like you to produce a record for me or produce a song," then I could pull up my digital performer software or my GarageBand or Reason.
Wow.
And I could put together a groove, and get their vocals in. I could do remixes, things of that nature.
Right. So are you currently doing any production work with any artists now, or any artists that people may know of? Or you're currently just kind of taking a break to focus on the book and really get the book out there?
Well, the most recent artist I've been working with is Nadira Noor Jahan. So she's been doing pretty good in the last 2 years in the soul industry, like the soul category.
Right.
The latest song she has out now is called Love and Honey.
Yes.
And that's doing pretty good on Pandora and Spotify and so on. You know, so if I was a record company, she would be my artist.
Did you actually write that song for her, or did you guys co-write that song, The Love and Honey?
It was a collaboration.
Oh, okay. It's a beautiful song. It's a beautiful song. Very beautiful song.
Oh, thank you.
Sam, tell us a little bit.
She's a good writer.
Yeah, she's a great singer. I listened to a little of the Love and Honey, and I like Jill Scott and India.Arie, so I love that jazz blues type music. So
okay. And she's from Philly.
Really? Okay.
Yes, she's a Philly native.
Tell us a little bit about your book, Hybrid Executive. I read a little bit in the bio, but tell us, I want you to tell us a little bit about
and how you came up with that name,
with
Hybrid.
the title.
Yeah.
Okay. So the Hybrid Executive, I'm going to lower my thing down a little bit because so the Hybrid Executive, hybrid meaning the next thing or derivative of, or the new thing that follows the old thing, or it's new improved. And an executive means you're like a CEO or a board member, or like part of an executive board, which lends itself to more things like business and economy,
Right.
money, finance, things of that nature. So while I was doing my degree, I was using the term hybrid a lot because we were in the middle of leaving the analog stage and coming into more of the digital with many things, not just with music, but also with business. We're buying more online. We were on the internet and getting into apps and things of that nature. So it really defined for me what the artist of today has to do. You have to be like really understanding the different components of the music industry.
Right.
So even though the industry is kind of dead, well, no, not that it's dead. The record company part of it is kind of dead.
Mm-hmm.
So when you mean by it's kind of
We
dead,
still have to simulate.
when you mean the record
Well,
company
no, I'm saying like
dead.
labels.
Right.
Yeah, labels are pretty much being extinct. And should I say the old model of it?
Right.
So we had people like Sony and Universal and
Right.
Warner Brothers,
Right.
Capitol,
So they're
and their subsidiaries. That whole system is pretty much out the window. So it's more of an entertainment thing now. For example, look at where Leo Cohen and Kevin Lyles are at YouTube.
Yeah.
Right. And they're
Stout is doing this thing with the NFL, trying to get the music over there.
Right.
So it's like the kings of yesterday are venturing into other fields to keep the music alive. They got to co-market the music.
Right.
At one point, water was free. We pay for it now.
Right. Right.
So it's kind of like the same,
Right.
Right. So back to the point in terms of the labels are more on an extinct path, but the indie artist today has to understand the different components. So you got to write the song, you got to produce it, package it, market it,
Right.
sell it, put it, you got to be your own label, so to speak. So in a sense, you're a hybrid executive. You're not just an artist anymore.
Right.
Right.
And in terms of how I named the book, when I was getting ready to graduate from Full Sail, because I went to Full Sail for a little bit, I was about a month or two before we graduated. They encouraged us to start sending out our resumes.
Right. That's one
So I
of
had
Full
all
Sail's
these cover letters
things.
to do. And yeah, they were killing me with cover letters because a job would be for an executive here, or a radio person there, or an engineer, or there were just so many things. I needed that one title to call myself. I said, all right, I'm a hybrid executive, and I left the space for what that position would be on the cover letter, and that was my template.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, has it been a part of time where it got real difficult when you was writing the book? Like, did it get, like, you got stuck at one point when you was writing the book, maybe you had to take 2 weeks off, maybe, like a little rest, a break off the book, of writing the book?
How long did it take you to actually write the book?
Oh, wow, that's a really good question.
Was it?
In the early 90s, I had a gospel group in New York, a group called Highlight, and we did this thing called a casingle.
Oh, wow. No one
Casingle.
does those anymore.
So it was, at the time, it was the first of its kind, so there was a really rich gospel music community in New York.
Right.
And I had just relocated from the Caribbean, and we did this thing in the studio, and we sent this single to the radio station in New York. About a month later, we were in rotation. So all the gospel folks in New York was like, "Oh, you guys did that? You're on the radio already? You guys just came here. What happened?" So I started consulting before I knew what it was. So I was going to put together a little booklet or a pamphlet. And that's really where it started. We're talking like 92, 91.
Wow.
And so I would write a little bit, put it down, come back to it later on, a couple of months later, sometimes a few years later, come back to it. So it's been something that I've been putting together for a minute.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. So how can people find your book? What platforms that they can actually go on and try to purchase your book and find the book? The Executive Hybrid, correct?
Hybrid executive.
Well, hybrid executive.
Hybrid executive. Apologize about that.
Yeah. I know, it sounds funny the other way too. I was like, so they could go to thehybridexecutive.com, and pretty much most of the links are there. But the book is on Amazon. It's on iBooks. It's on Barnes and Nobles. They can get the e version there. I'm still holding on to the physical copies, so folks could order the physical copy directly from me.
Oh, okay.
So they can go to the website there and check it out.
Right. So I got the website, guys, posted right there below. The ones that are watching, the ones that are listening, it's www.thehybridexecutive.com. That is thehybridexecutive.com. So if you guys want to go and look at the book, you can click on it and get the brief index and dialogue what's in the book, which is good as well. It's an informative book. I think it's a good book to have. Samuel, working with new artists, or you hear some of this new music today, do you think your book can benefit any new artists, or is this book just based off your experience in the music industry?
I actually sprinkle real life situations in the book, but this book is really for the up and coming artists.
Okay.
And for those folks who never really understood the music business, they could read this book and get a really good idea. I had a little focus group testing it out while I was before releasing it. And I had different people doing it. Some people were in different industries, so not everyone was in the music industry. And so those who didn't understand the music business at all, when they read the book, they were able to grasp the idea of it. But I think the real benefit would be, the teens, the early adults, early adults, twins, because I'm really speaking about concepts, finding the angles, how to prepare your mind, how to recognize certain things in the industry, look at the market trends, see where things are going.
Right.
So it's sort of like a self-empowerment manual. So it could be used as a main book or it could be used as a supplement depending on the situation that the person is in.
A guide. I use it almost like a guide.
Yeah, so it's sort of like a guide, and you have to read it more than once too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so it's one of those ones.
Because you have a lot of artists that has geared more towards television and movies, and then the artists that's out there, a lot of them are coming off of the labels and going independent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what's your opinion on artists coming out, and once again, we got social media, YouTube, we got, Kickstarter, we got TuneCore, we got all these other platforms that artists now, as an independent artist, that you can launch your career wise. And I hear a lot of artists flick it up. Me and him interview a lot of musicians, a lot of artists out during the week. And a lot of these artists say that they don't want to sign with a label. They rather to be independent. What's your opinion on that? Is it a good idea, or do you think that independent artists actually works?
Wow. First of all, I'm jealous of the generation today. I wish I had a lot of this stuff that they had. In my time, I wish I had all of that, what they have now. I think it's better if the artist goes independent because they're really putting their pension plan together. Mm-hmm. But they should leave a little door open just in case a really good deal comes along. Because building your own brand will give you a little bit more leverage in reference to dealing with a company. And a company today may not want to mess with you if you don't even have a following. Mm-hmm. So if you build your brand and have a cool little following, and they want to work with you, and they have a great offer, as long as you're not selling your life away, right, it might be a good deal. Right. But how often would that happen?
Right. You have to be very careful with these labels, though.
Have to work on an independent thing and build their publishing, build their catalog. And when it starts materializing, you get back most of the percentage of it.
Right. A lot of these labels now, they lost full control of their artists in reality, in a way. Mm-hmm. Because even though they sign a contract agreement, a lot of these artists they will break their contract. Here's some of your money back. They already built their following from using the label platform, mm-hmm, and they all go independent using YouTube platforms, all these other platforms. There's a few artists that's already done that, refused to re-sign with labels and continue doing their independent form. But labels are now trying to gain control back by offering, like for instance, the one cat, Nas X. They saw it immediately how that came, and they came out immediately and wanted to sign him. Right. In which he took the deal. It was an unbelievable deal that gave, I forgot what Sam, you know that deal, or you heard about that deal, Little Nas X, the Old Town Road?
I know the song and I heard the story. I'm not sure if I may have to read on the deal to find out what type of deal that he got.
Right. So
But that was sort of like an anomaly.
yes, correct. It's one of the rarest one.
So what happened? I mean,
He's been doing music for years. He's out of Atlanta. He's been doing music for years. Like we're talking about years. Young, doing it in high school, went to college, dropped out of college, living on his sister's couch, so forth. So when he came up with the song "Old Town Road," he released. If you're a gamer, you know Dead to Right. He released this song on a video game called Dead to Right. It's a cowboy game. And gamers actually helped launch that song because they kept playing it as the games go. It just went well with the Dead to Rights. Well, as he built his following, his YouTube literally skyrocketed. His following just skyrocketed. And when the controversy happened, the Billboard DJs just started grabbing a song from YouTube.
oh, gotcha.
DJs started spinning it. Then the controversy came when the country Billboard had it on the Billboard, took it down because they
Tried
said
to say it wasn't country
enough. But oh man, I think it's Columbia Record came, offered him like 2.5 million or something like that, and full creative control. Full creative control. He can create with whoever. He can create whatever.
Wow.
They gave him full creative control. Because in reality is, they don't care about any additional stuff that he creates.
Just that song.
They got that song now.
Right.
Now stop me if I'm wrong, Samuel. Since he signed with them and I'm pretty sure he signed that song on board because what happened when they did the remix with Billy, what's his name?
Is that Billy Cyrus?
Billy Cyrus is with Columbia. So now they're getting a piece of that song now.
So they get half.
The song is the reason why he got the deal.
Right.
Right. And $2 million for a record company of that stature isn't really anything painful.
Yeah. So we got another special guest here. You guys can't see her, but you guys can hear her. We got Miss Karen. Miss Karen wanted to ask a question. Karen, what was that question you wanted to ask and say hello to everybody?
Hello. The question that I had was with your book. Your book teaches young people that want to get into the industry of music or that already have made like cut little CDs that they sell out the trunk, or they go to these clubs and they sing and they don't know enough to say, okay, what do I do with this money instead of going to the VIP club? How can I invest this back in myself? Who can show me? Will there ever be a time where you will do like an online tutorial to teach some of these young kids that you can do this yourself?
Wow, that's a great idea.
I like the angle you came from. It's kind of different. It's something that I can include. In the book, though, I kind of address it in the there's a chapter I have called "Clearing the Fuzziness," where I'm encouraging the reader or the artist to take care of business. Make sure you're taking care of your business aspect of it. Make sure you're handling your copyrights properly, handle your publishing properly. If you need assistance, get assistance and do it right, because that is your pension plan. Yeah. But I like how you put it in terms of where you present options to the artist that's actually receiving money.
Right.
How they should reinvest that money back into themselves and treat it like an actual business. So yeah, I can definitely include something like that in a presentation. Okay.
So you guys heard that, man. He can include that in a presentation. Once again, right below him, you see his website. So if you go to his website, thehybridexecutive.com, you'll be able to get a hold of Mr. Samuel Archer and so forth.
Yeah.
So make sure you guys do that. Also, like always, make sure you guys go ahead and follow us on all our social media as well. Follow us on Facebook, as you see right below, and go ahead and follow us on right here on YouTube. And flick it up, know my new saying, man. Make sure you go to YouTube, smash that button like you smash your girl, share it like you share your dude, and like it like you like your side piece. You know what I mean? So make sure y'all go ahead and follow us, man, and do that. This is a great segment. I'm loving it. Also, Sam, you have a Instagram. Is that correct?
Yes, there's an Instagram. It's called Musilog.
And you guys can see it right there below.
A quick story about Musilog is that Musilog is actually an online publication, which started out as a class project while I attended Full Sail, and I just kept it going. So we kind of do a little bit of music reviews and artists that's releasing new music and things like that.
Right. I like that. I like that. Look, go ahead. Yeah.
Samuel, I see that you have worked with some very known artists. B2K. My daughter loves B2K. Horace Brown. 112. Wow. And then the TV show where you contributed music, 90210. I mean, wow, you have done a lot.
Well, thank you. Yes, I have. I wish my bank account could still show those numbers. But, in reference to B2K, they recorded a song that I wrote called Baby Girl.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that song.
And that song ended up in the Barbershop movie with the first installment with Ice Cube and Eve and that crew.
Uh-huh.
The other group, Horace Brown, he was signed to Uptown NCA. He did a song called Taste Your Love, and those days I used to hang with Trackmasters, and they did a remix to that song. The original producer of that song was Dave Jam Hall. But I did some keyboard work on the remix, and the remix was done by Alexander Richburg, who is a former member of Trackmasters.
Right.
112, there's a song called Baby Call My Name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember that song.
So I'm playing keyboards on that.
Okay.
The funny thing about that song is that when we worked on that song, I was supposed to go back and play the keyboards better.
Well, what happened to that?
So I'm a little bit leery of that one. And in reference to the additional music, I eventually joined a few music libraries.
Uh-huh.
So TV supervisors, or should I say supervisors of the shows, they would be looking for music, and so they selected some of the music that I would have and put them in a lot of these reality TV shows.
Okay.
So that's how that worked.
Okay. Wow.
So right now, besides the book, are you still doing some work with television productions or any artists that people know of now? Or are you just currently, like I said before, focusing on the book? That's it, just the book, and trying to really get this book to take off?
Yeah, I'm really pushing the book, but I'm also really pushing my latest artist as well. So that's Nadira Noorjahan. I mean, that's kind of like...
She's West Indies style, isn't it? She's like a...
India.Arie, Jill Scott type deal, yeah. And that's the Love and Honey.
What I've been getting from people, they say if Jill Scott and Erykah Badu had a child, they have Nadira Noorjahan.
Okay, got you.
That's what they told me.
Her voice is very beautiful. I love the Love and Honey song. Yeah.
So if you guys don't know what we're talking about, just like we said before, go to his website. You can actually listen to the Honey song It's a great song, especially if you're into neo soul or new age neo soul, because it's switching up a little bit, you know. So definitely check that out. Make sure you definitely go and check his book out. I don't advocate a lot of books on here, but this is actually an interesting book, and for those people that want to know about the music industry or start where to start at, this book will help you out with that.
Hybrid Executive.
Yes. Now, I'll just add really quickly. One of the books that I had read, and I think I have it as a suggested reading in my book, it's Everything You Better Know About Music Business, from the great late Kashif. That was one of the first easiest reading books for me to understand the industry. And in that same spirit, I wanted whatever book I put out to be like an easy read, where it's not like hard to read,
right?
Or you're falling asleep to check it out. You know, you want something that you can read and interest you, and you can learn as you go. So that's kind of like the spirit of the vibe in the Hybrid Executive as well.
Exactly. I wish I would have had that song prepared to play it on a little snippet on air. Which I'm gonna try to grab that just so people out there can hear just a little bit snippet of that Honey song.
That Love and Honey.
I really like that song. Flick it up. Any questions you got for him? Flick it up.
You fell asleep?
Yeah. Ain't fell that. So what is besides the book? Are you working on another project, or are you working on anything new, or is this the one artist you focus on as well?
I have some instrumentals I'm preparing. I've been kind of vibing to Mr. Robert Glasper a little bit. I'm checking out how he's burning the waves up.
Right.
He's inspiring me.
Right.
So I'm thinking to do some similar things like that. But for right presently, you know, I'm really just pushing the book and pretty much the most recent projects. But, you know, if someone gives me a call, I'll consider. You know, I mean, for the right price.
And you're currently right now, are you resigned in what, New York right now, or where you resigned at right now?
I'm in Delaware.
Delaware, that's what it was, Delaware.
Yeah, but I used to live in New York. I used to live in Brooklyn.
Right. So you're currently in Delaware.
I'm moving to Delaware.
You moving to Delaware?
I'm moving to Delaware.
Woo! All right.
So is there...
Okay.
So is there... Okay, we're going to play this song right now. We're just going to play just a little bit.
So you think that you're somebody, 'cause you drive a fancy car, got a little money, you got all those little girls impressed. Oh, but I'ma need more than that, and that's a fact. Oh, you see, 'cause love and honey, you got me. Love and honey is what I need from
All right,
you.
DJ. We're not going to give it all away. Hey, look, if y'all want to hear the rest of that, y'all need to go to the website. Make sure you go to his website. I'm going to post his website up one more time right there. And for those that are just listening, I'm going to tell you the website. It's the hybridexecutive.com. Just that simple. The hybridexecutive.com right below. And you see it right there. Make sure you guys go to this website. Check it out. You can find that track on there. Pretty sure it's also ready for... What platforms can you get that on?
That was on Spotify. So.
Spotify. What are all the platforms they can get that song on?
Pandora, Spotify, Apple Music,
Oh, wow.
Tidal, CD Baby, Amazon.
Okay.
The record is everywhere.
All right. So she does have a full-blown record as well, correct?
Yes, she did a full record in 2016 called Love, Pain, and Redemption. It's a full album.
Right.
And folks can get that, have access to that too.
Okay, definitely.
And he also, we don't want to forget to announce his digital marketing company as well, samsdigital.net. So if you all need any, work and, so we don't want to leave that out.
Yeah. What type of digital marketing that you do, Zam? What's the samples of digital marketing that you actually do?
Well, it all depends on what the client is looking for. But if they're releasing a record, I would do some evaluations. I would probably do like a visibility evaluation. I'll take a look to see how strong their brand is in the industry.
Okay.
Takes me a few days to do that. It's a lot of research. Once we see where the brand is, we look for a similar artist that they may be close to and see if we can get maybe 2 to 3% of that audience and bring them over to the new artist.
I
So
got
that's kind of like
you.
the strategy.
I'm very familiar with that trick. Very familiar with it.
So
Marketing
there's new ways with that.
Yeah.
Another thing, another gem I'll share is that the revolution starts on the ground.
Yes.
No revolution starts on the internet.
No.
And that's a misconception that's out there that I'll put my record out and I'll just post something on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and it's going to go.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in 10 years, but right now your revolution starts on the ground. You got to have a ground game and you got to have a marketing mix.
That's correct. Listen, we're going to get ready to wrap this up like always. Sammy, any final words you want to tell the people or besides going to the website, any final words or any words of encouragement or wisdom you want to give to people?
To the new artists that
I want
started.
to thank you guys for having me.
Well, we appreciate you
coming. I appreciate
coming.
the interview. I appreciate seeing Sister Katrina.
I'm moving to Delaware.
And I like that her last name is Diamond. Then she said she's moving to Delaware.
I'm moving to Delaware.
Hurricane and Diamond.
Oh, man.
That's a rough combination.
That's rough, man.
But I was telling Key, is it Key?
Yes, KaySix, your boy here.
I'm sorry, Kay. I was telling you earlier that being a Full Sail grad, I learned about you guys on the Full Sail networking site.
Yes.
So I want to send some shout out to Miss Asia
J. Smith.
This as well.
Miss Asia J. Smith.
And,
appreciate it.
In terms of the book, it's really a labor of love. I would love to get rich, but I'm a teacher first. Those of you who teach and like to educate, it's really about the information, and that really excites me a lot. The passion about the knowledge, and I really hope people get that from the book. If you're earnestly looking for some information to help you out, this book is going to help you, and it's less than $20.
Less than $20. Look, I'm gonna order my copy. I got to. And listen, we're gonna set up a competition or a contest for somebody to get a free book.
Oh yeah.
Free book on the ShakeDown show. Coming from the ShakeDown Showcase Radio right here, we're gonna do a competition.
For new artists,
for all local artists, independent artists.
Yes.
Yep. So I'm just throwing that out there. Katrina Diamond, any final words for the people?
It has been a pleasure interviewing you and getting a good insight on your book. I'm going to order your book, and I'm not an artist. I try to sing, but I'm more like a shower singer. So thank you for coming on.
Hurricane, Diamond, and Shower.
And I'm moving to Delaware.
Yes, sir. Mr. Flick It Up, any final words for the people?
Oh, Lord.
Flick It Up, you there? I guess Flick It Up ain't there. Like Flick It Up say, man, y'all make sure y'all just keep your head above water and do what you got to do. This your boy, Mr. Flick It Up. So we did it for him. You know what I mean? Out there. and y'all know, man, who it is right now. This your boy KaySix, man. Like I always say, man, motivate yourself to inspire others, to inspire yourself. Right here on the ShakeDown, man. Also, we the new 407 in Park. You know what I mean? Keeping it real, Real Talk Tuesday. So make sure y'all go ahead and go to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, Indeed. You name it, we on all platforms. If you want to listen to the show, you know how to do it. We on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio. We on all those platforms, SoundCloud. And make sure you just hit Mr. Samuel Archer up if you guys got any questions.
Yes, get his book.
Yeah, leave
Hybrid Executive.
Hybrid Executive. And I got it posted right there below me again. And that's the way that we do it. So, man, listen, we out. Appreciate it. Got to boot up these shoes and hit the door. And while we on the way out, I'm going to play a little commercial for y'all.